The pain of rejection is universal, but the Bible views it as something far more significant than just a personal slight. What if the first great rejection in Scripture wasn't of a person, but of God Himself as king over His own nation? This pattern continues. Throughout the Bible, speaking God's truth often leads directly to being cast out by the world. And this spiritual reality reaches its absolute peak in the life of one person, Jesus Christ. We will show why rejection is central to the biblical story, how God reverses its meaning, and how that offers real healing today. First, biblical rejection is not a passive feeling. It is the active choice to dismiss, refuse, or not accept God's message. We see this on a national scale. The Israelites repeatedly dismissed God's laws, which led to real-world consequences. We see it on a prophetic level. Messengers like Jeremiah were targeted precisely because they spoke for God. And we see it at its most painful within families, like Joseph being sold into slavery by his own brothers. So what does this consistent pattern tell us? It shows that rejection is a fundamental part of the human story with God. Hold on to Joseph's story. In a few minutes, you will see exactly how God transforms that devastating betrayal into redemption. The peak of this theme is Jesus, whose rejection was no accident. The prophet Isaiah foretold he would be despised and rejected. Why does this detail matter for you? It means the ultimate rejection was not a failure, but a necessary part of God's redemptive design. And this prophecy was fulfilled personally. John 1:11 says, "He came to His own, and His own did not receive Him." The rejection became even more intimate. Scripture notes that at first, even His own brothers did not believe in Him. This reveals the core mechanism. To reject the Son is to reject the Father who sent Him. It is a spiritual act. So Jesus' rejection was intentional and deeply personal. But how did He react, and what can we learn from that? Jesus' response was one of relentless purpose. Despite opposition, He continued to heal, teach, and bring light. Contrast this with Cain. When his offering was rejected, his unchecked anger led down a destructive path to murder. Now, back to Joseph. His brothers cast him out, but God used that very act to place him in power to save them all from famine. This gives us our instruction. We are called to respond not with Cain's anger, but with Christ's love and perseverance. So we have a choice in how we respond. But what is God's perspective on the one being rejected? This changes everything. The Bible presents a stunning reversal. 1 Peter calls Jesus the living stone, rejected by humans, but chosen by God, and precious. Think about what this means. The very one humanity discarded, God identified as the most valuable piece of His creation. This reframes our own experiences completely. Rejection from the world does not equal rejection from God. It may prove the opposite. But how do you feel that security when the pain is so real? The answer is found in one of God's most powerful promises. The psalmist gives us the answer. "Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me." God's acceptance is absolute. Here is the great exchange. Because Jesus was the foundation stone that was rejected, we are now accepted in the Beloved. And this acceptance is not fragile. It's what Romans 8 promises, that absolutely nothing can separate us from His love. Because your acceptance is secure, you have a place to put the pain. You can cast your anxieties on Him because He cares for you. The Bible reveals a divine trade. Christ took ultimate rejection so that we could receive ultimate acceptance from God. We've seen that rejection is a core biblical theme, not a personal failing, which was fulfilled and overturned by Jesus. The final step to healing is forgiveness. Releasing those who reject you isn't for them. It's for your own freedom. So when you face rejection, recall the prophets and the chief foundation stone. You are a building block in God's kingdom. Your value is not determined by human opinion, but by divine selection. You are accepted in the Beloved. Live from that reality.